Hello everyone, welcome you back to my YouTube channel where we go through the basic computer skills. So I thank you for your time, and I hope by the end of this video your computer skills will have improved quite significantly. So today I want us to go through the basic and very common errors that people make while using their Excel. You may not notice, or you may see the error when you don't know how to solve it, or you don't know what it means. But for today, let's do the basics, and by the end of this you'll be quite good to go. So whenever you're using Excel and maybe you're doing calculations or something, and then you accidentally divide a number by 0, it is going to bring for you something like div strokes O. For example, let me show you. If I'm doing this, okay, then I'm dividing and I accidentally divide by 0, I'll get something like that. Whenever you see something like this, meaning somewhere in your function or in your formula you divided by 0, it's very simple to solve. Just look for where you have made the mistake and you correct it, and that will be it. Okay, that is the one. That's the first. Now then, some of us, when you are adding, for example, I may be using sum. Okay, you're using sum. Maybe you want to add this, and then instead of putting maybe a full colon or an addition sign, you say end and you leave a space and you leave nothing. Then you say maybe plus this, and then you say enter. The computer will bring something like that to bring for you null. What does that mean? It means that the data you have entered is invalid for that intersection. Okay, that is invalid. So the way of solving it, just look in your function, look for you have skipped that, and you correct it. And sometimes you don't have even to say enter, you just have to do things the normal way. For example, you can just say equal sign sum, double tap, then you don't have to select one by one, just select all of them at once. For example, you're using this, you're using sum, you want to add, just come and select all of them at once that you want to add. Okay, and just say enter. It will do the addition for you, but the moment you leave a space, you're going to get something like this. That's another very common error. Then other times your computer may bring for you something like this. For example, if you are adding maybe this and plus this, okay, the computer brings for you that hash and the value. It means that the things you have added, in actual sense, they do not add, or you have entered the wrong data type. The data you have entered in doesn't fit right there, so you have to go back and look in throughout your function, maybe your formula or whatever, and see where you have made that specific error and you correct it. As you have seen, it's nothing serious, but it is very simple to solve. Okay, then assuming I've been adding, let me say I was summing my work. Okay, I was summing this. Okay, and I had my answer there. And then in the course of using the document, maybe you find this column useless, and then you decide to delete it. When you decide to delete it, all the work that you did in that specific column will bring something like this, ref. This means that the reference, now here I had the summation. I was summing up stuff, but I was summing using this specific row that specific column that you have deleted. So meaning now you are referencing to an invalid column that has been deleted. So whenever I see something like this, meaning the column, like the function used in that specific column, it was deleted. Okay, so either you do it or you can recover it, but whenever you see that, means the stuff or the content that was there was referencing to certain column somewhere which was deleted. Okay, so you can see, so that is another error that we've covered. So far we have covered dividing by 0, wrong data input, referencing to a deleted column, and we have seen like intersect the cells which don't intersect. So let's move on. Assuming I'm working out, okay, for example, let me say I'm finding the square root of a number. Okay, finding the square root, but I put name is a -4. Okay, then I say enter. The computer will bring something like this. This simply means that the function or the number you have entered in that function is invalid. For example, you saw I was finding the square root, then I put in a negative number. Negative numbers don't have square roots, so whenever you see something like this, meaning the number you have entered that specific function is invalid. Okay, so you either review it and check where the mistake is. So that is the meaning of this very error. And then as we wind up, there's this other error people usually do. For example, you want to find the sum and then you say SM. Okay, you say SM, you're finding sum, but maybe you add a number or you delete a number. Then you say this, you come, you do the rest very well, and you say enter. They'll bring something like this. Okay, this means that in your function there was a mistake. Either you input a wrong function that you added. For example, for me, I removed U. I just wrote SM. Or some for you may add, maybe you're finding the average, or let me say sum, and then I say SME. Okay, and then I come, I'm adding, I do my stuff normally with my wrong function. They'll bring this. This means that you have entered a wrong function, or the data you have put in that specific cell, is invalid. Okay, so take note. And then lastly, let us see what if maybe I'm putting date or time. For example, if I'm putting the date, let me say 30th of 12th month 2025. Okay, and then in this specific cell, assuming I've already added my work and the work is fitting in quite perfectly, then as you're doing the work, you make this cell a little bit shorter. So I was saying, assuming I input my data and maybe I've put a date here, you can see it fits in quite perfectly, and then all of a sudden, or maybe you are editing the work, you forget and you make this specific column shorter, you get something like this. So whenever you see something like this, it simply means that the data or the space of that cell is not enough for the data which is there. So all you have to do is you come and then you increase the size of that column. Okay, so you can see when the column is long enough, the thing will automatically correct it. So whenever you see such a mistake, just know that the data inside there is too much, or the cell is not enough. I thank you for your time. Please don't forget to share, to subscribe, and to follow. Thank you. See you in the next video.